All right, welcome to the podcast playground where podcasters come to play. Today we're gonna discuss Jacksonville filmmakers and what got them inspired. So
Yeah.
my guest today is Bryce Howard. What's going on, man?
Doing all right, man. Hey, Jason, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Welcome to the show. So, kind of who is Bryce, and what inspired Bryce to get into?
Well, that's me. And the short answer is money.
I like that.
Well, okay, because I've told this story before, so I kind of got it in the back of my head. How did I get into cinematography? Well, if you know my Instagram is Bryce the Engineer, it's because I actually been a music engineer for about 20 years. But I can do that with my eyes closed because I've been engineering for about 2026? So yeah, about 2005, 2006, maybe even before that. Because my dad sold computers and he did gospel music. He's also a preacher. But he did gospel music, and he always had a studio in the back of his house. So when I was a kid, my dad used to he used to give me computers. I didn't live with him, I lived with my mom. But he used to give me computers and then just give me programs. Oh, here's Cubase, some program called Cubase, check it out. Here's some program called Pro Tools, check it out. So when I was a teenager at like 15, 16 years old, I was using that stuff back then. By the time I went into the Navy right out of high school, so I was from 18 to about 23, I was in the military and I could buy my own stuff. So I had got my own studio at my house, and then that led to me working at other studios because I built my knowledge up there. But yeah, my dad was an fixed TVs and computers and stuff. So I remember like the days of the 286, 386, the Tandy 1000s, the Commodore 64s, all that stuff when I was a kid because I was born in '84. So I was 10 by 94.
Oh, so you're still young.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I watched my dad fix these computers and TVs. And I remember one day standing in his shop, and I said he was fixing a TV, and I was looking at the circuit board, and I was looking at how tiny everything was. I said, "Who made that?" And he said, "Engineers." And I said, "How the heck did they make that?" And then my dad said they went to school for it. And then that started. He doesn't realize it, but that started a wheel in my head to get more into electronics. So then I went to A. Philip Randolph, which had a magnet program for computer science, and so I did that. While my dad also fixed computers, I already knew certain things. I did that. I think I did a little MCSC certification, A+, stuff like that. Basic stuff,
Yeah.
Then I went on into the Navy as an aviation electronics technician. And I did that for 5 years in the Navy while I had my studio at my house, so I'm learning both at the same time. Then when I got out of the Navy, I worked for Lockheed Martin as an electronics technician 3 for the tethered aerostat radar system.
You was getting paid.
Oh, yeah, Lockheed, that was the best paying job I ever had.
I know.
Yeah, that was the best paying job I ever had. Like, they solve every problem with money, and I like it. But that was government contract work, so we had a time frame. When it was up, I came back to Jacksonville. I was in Virginia. I came back to Jacksonville, and that's when I really got deeper into engineering. Because I was doing it as a secondary thing, but then it became a primary thing when I moved back here, and I decided to do that. And then of course, there was some college and stuff in between.
Now, were you producing music?
Everything engineers do, produce. Or I was writing, producing.
Oh, so you was the whole nine.
Yeah, mixing and mastering. I could play the keys a little bit. Why? Because my dad, church, and all that stuff. But I never played at the church. I just taught myself on my own because he would give me keyboards and stuff like that. But I actually got into cinematography. Why? Because I was at the studio recording people, and I was working over there with Paul at Platinum Sound. And, at this point, I was pretty good. I'm still pretty good now, but at what I do to where I just had enough clients and stuff. But there was some guys coming through, and they wanted music videos. And they said, anybody that does music videos? And I knew a guy, and I referred him. And one guy came in and said, yeah, man, I got like $1,500 to shoot a video, but your boy ain't answering the phone. So I called him. I said, man, what's going on? I said, I just gave you a layup. Answer the phone. You know what I mean? And he was like, I've been busy, man. And I was sitting here, I blew my mind, because at the studio, I was making like $60 an hour or something. Still good money, but
it ain't like
that ain't $1,500 in one pop.
Yeah.
So I was like wondering, why is this guy so nonchalant about this? And I was like, well, so I went back to the guy. The guy was like, man, what's up, man? I think your guy's flaking on me. And I don't like referring bad referrals. So then I was like, he ended up going somewhere else. But it started a process in my mind of how do I get some of that money?
Is it because you seen a niche and you was like, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this.
Yeah, exactly. And there was another dude. There were other guys I was hanging out with that had successful businesses, and they were millionaires and stuff. They wouldn't give me no money, but they would give me free knowledge. And I remember one guy. He said, "It's not about what you know; it's what you got access to." And what he meant by that is you can play middleman to a lot of things and make money.
Oh yeah, you ain't got to never really do it yourself.
Yeah, you don't never have to do it yourself.
You have to be able to manage the parts
Yeah.
that people need to get them to places they got to go.
And so he was he was in the real estate, did a bunch of different things, and he was kind of putting that idea in my head. So then I saw this opportunity come where I was like, okay, I'm an engineer. I have a ton of people that I record that rap, and they want videos. And then I know some video, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking I can easily be the middleman, the bridge here, and just get a finder's fee.
Yeah.
And start setting it up. So what I did was there were a couple of cinematographers that I ended up knowing, and then I reached out to them. And at this time, the red Scarlet was popular. You know, I remember back in those days. And so I contacted them. And I was like, hey, and I knew how to edit. And the reason I knew how to edit is because I made stupid videos with my friends all the time. Which is unrelated, but it seemed to have worked right into this situation.
It flowed right in the direction you were trying to go.
Mm-hmm. And I used, Apple got me because they'll get you to edit on iMovie, which is a precursor to Final Cut. So I knew how to use iMovie. So when I switched over to Final Cut, it was like second nature because it's basically
the same.
iMovie is just a kid version of Final Cut. So I mean, I guess that's their plan, huh? They got me.
Hey, they need that money.
Yeah,
he's paying with the revenue.
Thanks, Steve Jobs. So, so I started. So then I started going to cinematographers, and I didn't shoot at all. Never picked up a camera. I wasn't interested in it or nothing. And I went to a couple guys, and I said, "Hey, how much for you to shoot and give me the footage? I can edit it." And it was like one guy told me, he's like, "For you, Bryce, just give me $150." I said, "Bet." So we went out. He shot it. And then boom, I got this money. I gave him $150 and I'm wheeling and dealing. I did that a second time for another video. Boom. So I'm like, okay, I'm making a nice little chunk of change off of this, middlemaning it and just editing it.
Right.
But what started happening was the guys, I don't want to name them because they make them look bad, but the guys that I was reaching out to became very unreliable. Won't answer the phone, couldn't get a call back at a decent time, having a hard time scheduling. Blah, blah, blah. And then that naturally led to, I'm going to just get a camera myself. And since I was already technologically savvy from just my upbringing, I wasn't intimidated about learning about cameras. And so I ended up getting my first camera from a Full Sail student who was selling their FS5 Mark I. And he sold it to me at that time I think he sold it to me for $5,000. So I bought my very first camera, which was a Sony FS5 Mark I. And started using that. And with that camera, and I'll tell a small story here within a story, is that my first camera, I made a deal with a guy who had some money. I guess I could name him too, but I'm not in a goofy mood today.
We don't
no, I'll do it, but I'm just saying, I'm just not today. But he had some money. And if you know me, you know who the person is. That's what makes it funny. But I asked him, we started partnering up on some stuff, and I said, okay, well, I'll shoot this for you. Buy this camera. So he gave me the money to buy the camera. He was going to do it, but then I went ahead and bought the camera myself, but then still made the deal. So when I parted away from him, I had to give him the camera because he thought it was his money that bought the camera. Because it's kind of complicated, but basically I dealed myself out of the camera by making an agreement I didn't have to make. But I did it anyways. But I ended up making a lot of money with the camera. Because while in the duration I had the camera, I shot music videos. Multiple things. I made money. So I made my money back, but I could have made my money and left with the camera. But I gave him his camera because that was a part of the deal, because he paid for it, blah, blah, blah. And then we parted ways. And then, of course, but before I left, I had already bought me my own camera, which my second camera was a Ursa Mini 4.6K Black Magic. That was my second camera. And I bought that from a guy who was getting out the game. He's getting out the game. I think he sold the camera for $800. So now I'm getting, that was during the lockdown. That was 2020. And then that was also the first camera I shot my first short film on, which was The Prodigal Son. Well, no, that wasn't my first short film. That was my first film that was longer than 10 minutes.
So how many movies would you say you've made so far?
Oh, feature length. I only have 2 feature length movies I've made, but I have about 15 or 20 shorts that are 20 minutes or less.
Okay.
But I have 2 feature length movies. If you haven't heard of Traders, and then I got I can't remember my own movie, Pecan Park. Oh my gosh!
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, it happens.
Actually, I was working on my new script today. Working on the formatting and getting it all together. It's I don't want to give any details, but it's what I'm doing next.
Yeah, it's your next up and
I
coming.
will. Well, I'm writing 3 scripts at the same time, so I just finished one. The other one's this comedy about this kid who loses his job at Uber and then ends up getting into the music industry, and then he ends up having to use R. Kelly's piss to get the juice and some other stuff. It's definitely my sense of humor is more of it's a conglomerate of like let's say like a Wayans Brothers kind of humor mixed with a Martin, mixed with a like kind of like Mitch Hedberg. It's a lot of
because you took a little bit from all of them. I can tell with the R. Kelly piss juice.
Yeah. That's definitely like a Wayans Brothers style joke. You know what I mean? So it's like, but then there's other stuff that's a little more layered, like the Boondocks. You know how Boondocks humor is more layered.
Is that dark, deep?
Yeah. So I like that type of stuff too. That's a different type of humor. Blah blah blah. But in general though, that's my general story of how I got into cinematography, and that's why I shortened all of that story down into money. That's how I got into it.
How do you feel like this industry has been going for you, as far as collaborating with other people in this industry?
Well, the one thing I wanted to add to that first question about how I got into it, I wanted to cap that off by saying that if I could describe my relationship with cinematography, it's like meeting somebody, let's say at a club, and you thought this is just going to be a one-night stand, or this is just going to be, the last head buster, and you was going to deal with her one time or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you end up in a whole relationship and you like this person. And then y'all fall in love. And then y'all are talking about getting married. That's kind of how it happened with cinematography for me. I was just looking for a quick buck. And then the next thing you know, I like shooting movies and stuff like that. And that's what I want to do. So I kind of, I kind of saved cinematography from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, like by metaphor.
He said, look, I'm the one that put you in that camera, girl.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the other question you just asked me about.
In Jacksonville. Like how
just in Jacksonville?
Yeah, because I know you travel, but do you do a lot of projects here? Or do you feel like it's easier to travel outside of here to do those projects?
No, we're talking about just movies.
We're talking about movies because you say you produce music. Because here on the playground, we don't limit you the way you at.
Oh, gotcha.
We limit you where you want to go.
Well, yeah. Well, most of just like right now, a lot of the jobs I do are jobs for clients. So, like I did a short film called Patty's Dream Home for a construction a company. They were having an event or something, conference, and they wanted a movie for the conference. So they did like a 15, 20-minute short film, and then they just paid me to make it for them. Then I have other things like music videos. That's kind of stuff that just pays the bills. But the movies, which I want to do the most, is the hardest one to really get the money going in. Whereas the knick-knack jobs, I call them, like weddings, Do
you feel it's harder to show the value for the movie to get them to buy into it? Or do you feel that having enough people that you're going to need in order to do that?
I shot both
there's so many
movies.
Different hats.
I shot both my movies by myself, so I don't. You know what I mean? Some people came out and helped, because I was going to say something. Some people came out and helped, like on a volunteer level, a day or two, but that's because they asked me, sort of thing. Not because I necessarily was like, hey, whatever. But it's because with movies, the buy-in is higher. It's a lot easier to get a music video started, shot, done, and edited than it is to get a movie started, shot, done, edited. The process goes deeper, farther, longer, and wider. So, and it costs more money. Even if, like, let's say, for example, like my movie, Pecan Park, right? I shot that. It took me about 6 months, scattered, because if I shot it back to back, it'd probably take 20 days. But it took me about 6 months because I was doing jobs while I was shooting it. I had to pay the bills. And in my spare time, I'm scheduling a day for the movie here, there doing stuff here and there, people, whatever. And I got that done. But Pecan Park, I think altogether, if I would be real, it probably only cost me $2,500 out of my own pocket
To shoot it.
to make the whole movie. Minus the equipment I had to buy to shoot it, which I already had. So that was pre-purchased.
Right, which you already taxed that off already.
Yeah, that's already been paid for.
Yeah,
It's already
so
made its money back.
Yeah, you already had rolled that into previous jobs, so now you're sitting level.
Yeah,
on
sitting
equipment.
level. So exactly. So
now it's either
now I'm buying
profit and people that you're paying for.
Yeah,
in order
people
to
here and there.
execute.
Locations. Then there was a dinner scene. I had to pay for the food, buy the dishes, stuff like that, blah, 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 et cetera. And then if you consider gas, I probably spent about $2,500 on that movie. But making the movie is just the beginning. Advertising the movie and getting a return on your investment is a whole nother ball game, and that requires a comparable amount of money. You see what I mean? Like you can put it out there. Yeah, you get your friends and family to come to the premiere. You can probably make $2,000 to $5,000 off of that, $8,000 off the premiere, depending on how you work it up. If I'm charging Junior prices, I'll probably make 10 racks. Junior over here charging 65. I was like, yo, that's crazy. But they was paying it though, so I
Come see him.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
At first I thought, ain't anybody paying those $65. And then when I talked to Junior, he was like, yeah, man, we sold out. Then I was like, man, you got to give me the game, bro.
I'm telling you, but you know what though? It's that little bit of networking.
Yeah.
Because had he gatekeep.
Yeah. No, he was open. He was like,
you wouldn't have known that.
And you know what? In that, because as I made my way up the ranks through these different phases, which I do agree they exist, is that you end up developing a proficiency within your skill set from all these repeats of doing like the high quantity.
You do.
So many people, so many different types of scenarios. I've ran into so many different types of scenarios of shooting that I think that's what lended itself well to where I was able to shoot a whole movie solo. Like, for example, one of the things I tend to do if I'm shooting solo is how I block the characters because I'll use a C-stand to hold the mic. And I know that as long as the character doesn't move, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And then that eliminates a person. I don't have to bring a person out, but it also limits their movement. They can't do anything more dynamic in the scene. So what I end up getting them to do is all the dynamic movement in the scene, them walking or whatever, I just make sure they're not talking. And then I can just record the clothing or whatever it is that if they're moving, just like scratch audio or put it in later. And then when I know they're about to talk, I'll stage the shot just for that talk, pull the boom mic and just slide it over. Does that make sense?
It does.
The sound, honestly, is just as important as the picture.
Well, the sound is more important because I'll watch an ugly picture if it sounds good. But if it don't sound good, I'm turning it off.
Yeah. Exactly. I'll agree with that. If it's echoey or whatever.
Yeah. If it's echoey, it sounds like you in the toilet, I'm done. Or it sounds like you talking on an old 1980 walkie-talkie, like y'all in two tree houses hollering at each other. I'm not trying to do it.
Yeah. So
I'll watch your blurredness.
But yeah, so back to what you were saying about my experiences with the industry here is that I kind of, there were many times where I wanted to reach out and collaborate and work with people, but I think that the tempo, because I've been working for myself for the last decade, so that kind of generates a certain mentality of getting stuff done. And sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't feel like waiting around. Like people will be, I may need somebody now. And I need you now, and they're not available, or if they are available, they aren't as willing as I am. Because I may have to go shoot a scene. I know we're going to be here till 2 a.m. They're already thinking about going home. So I've learned in the past, don't even bring them, because they're going to be more of a nuisance than anything to the production. I'm better off just doing it myself, or just having somebody else that understands. Look, we're going to be here, because film production can go. Like, you could be shooting a scene at night, start at 8 p.m. You guys ain't getting out of there to 1, 2, 3. Like, you just got to be ready.
Now, is that because you do pre-run-throughs and then you, like, how many, and just like a short, how many takes do you do per scene before you say, okay, we good with this, we got what we need for this, and then we roll through it?
I got it, but that also goes back to the casting. I try not to cast people that'll cause me too many problems. Like, if you can't remember lines and stuff, I probably won't work with you again, because it's just too much of a pain in the butt.
Plus, it messes up what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's no disrespect. I don't think I've shot a short film that took more than 3 days to shoot, and that's being generous. Most of my short films take one, and I usually write it that way to where I get the whole thing shot in one day, or I'm shooting at one location or something like that. I usually don't write things that involve
multiple locations.
Unless there's some short films that get into featurette level, like 20, 30 minutes, but I think I got about 2 or 3 of those, but the rest of them, they're less than 10 minutes. It'll be one location, maybe one scene. And I do short films for different reasons. Like, I'm about to do my next feature film, but there's some cinematography things I want to practice on and work on. So I'm actually going to write some short films to go out and shoot and try things out. And I think, too, that with short films, because I know there's some actors out there that's probably like, oh, yeah, he's another one of them dudes that don't pay or whatever. But I believe that the short films, it's a symbiotic relationship, meaning that that both sides benefit. Actors need stuff for their reels
they
and their
do
profiles.
benefit because you benefit from the practice and the ability to go through all the editing. They benefit actor-wise by building a profile that they can go send out to other people.
Yes.
It's not costing them but time. It's not costing you but time. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
I've had some people get frustrated with me because they've done some stuff, and then I think I'll hit them back later and be like, hey, I want to do this other thing. And they'll be like, well, my rate is blah, blah, blah. They hit me with the my rate is. And then I don't say nothing because I'm in the business of doing business. So if that's your rate, if I ever need you, I'll pay for it. But you'll probably never hear from me again because I don't need you. But if I did, I know what your rate is, and I'm not going to argue with you about your rate. Because like I said, I work for myself. So I understand the concept.
Yeah, because they want to make a living too.
Yeah,
and you know what? I would never knock anybody in any industry, whether it's down to the janitor, because somebody has to do it. But at the same time, everybody on every level deserves to be paid. But if I tell you, hey, look, let's all just get together. This is going to be something that we just going to come together and do if you want to.
Yeah, because I agree with that part in that once you agree, I don't want to hear nothing else.
Yeah, I don't want to hear you
because you already done agreed and you know what this is. You know what I mean? Don't come to me asking if we're a couple when we already done established what this is.
Look, this is a friendship, okay?
It's a friendship. It's a friendship. Now, don't let the door hit you.
Okay, you ain't gonna be a one-night call, but this is a friendship.
So, like for example, my first movie, Traders. Erica Anderson. She was in it. She did it, of course. She was the lead of that movie and co-starring with Carrie. And Erica, she didn't get paid anything to do that or whatever the case might be. She did it because it was an investment in herself. But she ended up getting jobs out in L.A., got a ton of bookings here, been in several commercials. These commercials are paying like $2,500 a pop. And she's getting one like every week or two. Stuff like that. And it all came from because she did the movie.
Right.
I feel like that's a good example of she had an idea, she stuck to the plan, and she ended up with a movie under her belt, her first movie. And then that led to her being in other productions. I forgot what I think it was on AMC or something. Her last production. She was out of there. But I actually was glad that I could be a part of that launch.
That growth.
Yeah, and helping her take off and do whatever it is she's going to do, et cetera, et cetera. However, there are other gigs where because there are things where clients paid me to shoot, like that short film I did. Some people got paid because if you had a main role, because the budget was there. But I know as I grow and stuff and I get bigger budgets, everybody will get paid because I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't like free attitudes on set. I like for everybody to get paid.
It's kind of hard to control free attitudes.
Yeah, free attitudes is something else.
But here's the thing: everybody got it. Everybody get it.
Yeah. Like, man, why do you seem like you don't want to be here? So I can wash that away with some money. Okay, so
I can wash it away with some money. Yeah. Look, here's $5. Go get your Slurpee, kid.
So, but as a director, learning and stuff like that, and then just as a person, so that's why sometimes I'll try to provide meals when I can, when it's reasonable.
That they need to know where they can find you at, if they need anything done, produced, camera work.
Oh yeah,
know.
You can add me on Instagram, Bryce the Engineer. I'm on Facebook, Bryce Howard. That might be too generic, so it might be kind of hard to find me on Facebook. But it'll have my logo. Well, I don't even have my logo on. But I have my logo on it, the white and black logo. It says Bryce. And then I'm on some other stuff too. I'm on TikTok or something, but I just created that. I'm not big on social media like that. My biggest following is on Facebook though. There are some people that want me to collaborate more with the filmmakers here, particularly the black ones, because it is like that here. You got the black filmmaker community, and then you got other.
Right.
So they're doing their thing, and they're two. And I dabble in both groups, so I don't necessarily take sides. But I know that some people want me to kind of be over here more and stuff. But it's nothing personal. It's just that it's got to make sense.
Well, at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah, it's a business.
Business knows no color.
Like for example, I guess in theory it sounds cool to say, hey, help me shoot my movie. That sounds cool, but that's such a broad phrase. Like for example, let's say I wanted somebody to help me shoot my movie, right? And I say, but this is what I want you to do. I need you to be a PA. I'll be like, no. Because they're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the way that I need help, you're not gonna be willing to do, and vice versa. I probably wouldn't come on your set and be a PA for free.
I think it boils down to one, knowing what you're gonna tell the person you need help in. Because I don't like that term, I need help, because it's broad. You could need mental health. You could need financial help. I need you to be
all of which could be true.
I need you to narrow that feeling. I need help down. Look, I need help with audio, or I need help with lighting, or I need help with casting, scout location. Like,
it is broad because
narrow it down.
I need help. Like, there's been times where some people have asked me that, and I'll be like, they say I need help with this, and I'm like, okay, what's the problem? And I'll listen. And then I'll say, oh, okay, well, what are your audio settings? And I'll start getting into the actual solving of what the problem might be right there on the phone. What they're really saying is I want you to come out and do it.
But see, that's the problem. They're not saying what they need.
Yeah, so, but they don't want to say I need you to come do it because they know that don't make sense.
Well, it does. Because what it is they want you to volunteer to come do it.
Yeah, and what the problem, the biggest problem there is? Humility. Lack of humility. Because to do something, even, okay, let's not use them. Let's use me as an example. If I want to be around, Scorsese or somebody or whatever, I'm gonna have to humble myself
drastically.
You know what I'm saying? I cannot approach him like we on the same level and be talking to him like, because he's gonna look at me like, who's this kid?
When you leave his property, get back in your car, you realize, you're not on the same level.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but I think, and especially in the Black community, it's hard for some people to just see it that way because it's he think he da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. You'll come over here and mess more stuff up than you're aware of. I think it's the ability to want to be right even when wrong. I think that is the major downfall to a lot of personalities and a lot of different people who want to help or want you to come and help them. That's where it kind of falls into. Gotcha. And I appreciate it because that was something I wanted to say because there's a lot of people wondering about that particular subject and how I feel about it and what's going on. None of this is personal, but
it's business.
It's on a business level, and honestly, a lot of it is looking out for you, making sure you don't get out there and make a fool out of yourself. Because I won't allow it.
Once again, it's like the Scorsese's. If you go on his set and you mess something up and he brought you on there, they don't care about you. You just Bryce.
Yeah.
They're looking at him going, what did you do?
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing go vice versa. If I come on Bryce's set and I mess something up, they're not looking like, oh, Jason jacked that up. They look, Bryce, what you done did?
Yeah, especially if I picked you.
Yeah. They're like, get him.
And it's sad part. When people talk about spending money, they're looking at the people you're rocking with. They're looking at the people you're hiring, and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, you ain't gonna get none of my money.
Well, and they're looking at how you come. Yeah. Because I had a guy, we went and set up, it was a preacher, and it was humbling how he said, I'll be honest with you, I thought you were gonna show up with an iPad, talk about shooting this interview. But boy, you came up here like CNN. He told us, I ain't seen this much equipment since I seen CNN.
Your studio look like CNN.
He's like, man, you came up. No, this was actually in a church. He said, you came up in here, you lit the background. We did sound blankets because once again, it's a church and I don't want my sound to go further than I need it to go. I want to be able to dampen it. Man, he was so stoked. He sent me 3 more jobs.
Yeah, the customers like that, man, especially when you come and you got everything on point and they see that they see that you take them seriously.
Yeah, and that you're not just coming to take their money. But on that wonderful note, as always, I want to say thank you for watching, tuning in to the Podcast Playground. And thank you guys for coming out to watch us on the Podcast Playground. It's Jason and Bryce. Bryce, you want to tell them something before we go?
It ain't about the money. It's about the money.